I'm going to show you the best and the only Facebook ad objective that you need to use to maximize your results. So look, you're in Facebook ads, you go ahead and create a campaign, and this is the first thing that Facebook shows you. Choose your campaign objective. And it gives you 6 different options. And this has forever been a long-standing thing of which is the best objective, right? If you want awareness, you want the most people to see your ads, it makes sense to maybe run awareness ads or a traffic ad or engagement ad, right? And then you also have an ad just for leads and an ad for app promotion, and an ad just for sales, right? And so ultimately, if you're trying to maximize your results, which should you pick and what are the purposes of the other objectives? Now, to cut right to the chase, the way to understand these campaign objectives is you literally only want to select the one thing that you want. So look, if all you care about is eyeballs and attention, and all you care about is the most reach, the most brand awareness and views, then you should totally select awareness. This is going to give you the cheapest CPMs, it's going to give you the most exposure, and it's going to give you the cheapest quality of people also that just view things on Instagram or Facebook, but don't actually really convert into a click, don't actually convert into a lead, and don't buy anything typically, right? And so it's the cheapest audience, but it gives you the most views, right? So that's not so great for business objectives where you're ultimately trying to collect revenue. So you can kind of see where I'm going with this, right? Next, you have traffic. So again, same thing. If the main goal that you have is to get clicks and nothing else, run a traffic campaign, right? But we don't recommend that either, because what are clicks for ultimately? What's the purpose of clicks? It's usually to either convert into a customer or maybe generate a lead, which ultimately would convert into a customer. And so traffic itself isn't going to bring you customers. It's just going to bring you cheap quality clicks. Same thing for engagement. If you want engagement on your posts, if you want engagement on your stories, etc., the only reason that traffic could be a good campaign is if you're looking for Instagram followers, right? And so you can see that there is an objective right there that says Instagram profile visits. And so it's great for that. If you're looking to generate followers, this is the best objective that you can use for that, to get people to your Instagram account to potentially convert to a follower. Okay, next thing you have is engagement. So again, if you're looking to get engagement on your posts, video views, post engagement, shares, likes, etc., right? That's where the engagement feature can come in really handy. Again, not going to convert to customers, not going to convert to clicks, but people are going to engage on your post because that's what Facebook knows this audience group does. Next, you have leads, which essentially collects information from customers on Facebook. So again, Facebook knows which customers actually like to put in their contact information and sign up for things. And if you're a business that has a longer sales cycle, for example, me at Jet Ads, our agency collects leads, which then we need to convert into customers long-term, right? And that can go through a nurture sequence such as a call funnel or just a long-term email nurture sequence. And so leads in that case could be good for your business. Okay, and then you have app promotion. So again, if you have an app, right, this conversion could make sense for you. This objective could make sense for you. Obviously, it optimizes for app installs. And lastly, look, if you want to maximize your results, the best is for last in this case, right? Sales is going to give you exactly what it says. It's going to give you the most sales for your budget. With this campaign, you're going to see a higher CPM, you're going to see higher cost per clicks, but ultimately you're going to see a lot of add to carts, initiate checkouts, and the best cost per purchase that you can expect out of any of these campaigns, because the quality of traffic is the highest. These people have money. They are interested in buying products through Facebook and Instagram. And ultimately, it's going to give you the best chance at getting a high ROAS and maximizing your results and scaling. And look, I've managed tens of millions of dollars in ad spend. And bar none, the entire industry says and agrees with this. If you want sales, optimize for sales, right? You never want to choose any of these other objectives, because ultimately Facebook really just gives you a bunch of garbage in terms of, eyeballs and traffic and engagement, right? But none of them actually really convert to sales. And so you want to run a sales campaign if that's your goal, unless in some cases, you're a lead, type of B2B business and you rely on leads. That can also work in that case. But in 99% of cases, for e-commerce, online sales, online transactions, a sales objective is the one you want to go for. All right, and just to illustrate this a little bit more, okay, like I touched on with those other objectives, this is pretty much how Facebook works, right? Think of this as Facebook's entire database, right? It's like 3 billion people or whatever it is, including Instagram and all that, right? And so Facebook has essentially broken down their entire audience pool across the world into these 6 objectives, right? There's people that are good for awareness. There's people that are good for traffic, that like to click on things. There's people that are good for engaging on posts, and there's people that are good for leads, and there's people that are good for app promotions and downloading apps and things like that. And then there's people that are good for actually buying things on their platforms, right? And so globally, or you can just do this by country as well. It's the same thing in countries. If this is the United States, then the United States has a population of people, and on Facebook, only a percentage of those people actually typically buy things on Facebook and Instagram, right? And so Facebook knows who those users are. It knows roughly what your product is that you're selling, and it is going to show people your ads because they're the most likely to convert. All right, and so this would be your sales campaign, and this is where you're going to, again, maximize your ROAS. And essentially what Facebook does is there's very little overlap between these audiences. And so, you're going to have, if you run an awareness campaign, you're really going to be running this to a completely different segment of people on the internet that ultimately don't buy things. They just view things on Instagram. Maybe they don't have a lot of disposable income, or that's just not their shopping patterns, right? And so Facebook knows that the quality of traffic, again, is a lot cheaper, and ultimately you're going to get a lot of views, but no sales. And that's where you're going to see you're going to get so many more impressions than you would with a sales campaign, but you're ultimately not going to get a ROAS, right? And that applies to the other audiences as well. So you have engagement, you have traffic, and then you have leads. And I would say, it's not a perfect science. We don't, of course, perfectly understand how the algorithm works, but there's likely some overlap between some of these audiences, right? And so, of course, leads, right, is a more valuable audience than traffic or engagement or awareness. And it's ultimately looking to convert to sales, but it is lower quality than just we're looking to convert to a conversion, essentially. And so there's likely some overlap with a lead audience and a sales audience, to where Facebook can target people that are obviously more valuable to your business, and you want to optimize your conversion such that you can track those leads through the funnel and ultimately feed Facebook back the data that it needs in order to optimize for the correct type of lead that is ultimately the most valuable to your business. All right, and so that's kind of getting high level and technical, but all that you need to know is to maximize your results, choose the objective that you want. If it's sales, optimize for sales. If it's leads, optimize for leads always. All right, so I hope that helped. I hope this is the last video you need on objectives and understanding how they work. Just choose the one that you want. Just choose sales. That's all you need to know. Don't worry about anything else. All right, but if you do have any questions, let me know in the comments. I'm happy to get back to everybody there. If you're interested in ads at all as well, and you want to learn more about how to run ads in the best way possible, subscribe to the channel. I'm releasing new videos every single week on the best practices to running and scaling ad accounts. Again, with my experience at Jet Ads, managing tens of millions of dollars in ad spend. Okay, and if you're looking to dive right in, I recommend checking out this video next. I think you're really gonna like it.